The Labour government are ruining the private rental sector. Or are they? A lot of landlords are really scared and worried about what is going to happen when the Renters' Rights Bill comes in later this year. Now, it's not scheduled to come in probably until October, and there's a lot of campaigning and lobbying going on by the NRLA, National Residents and Landlords Association, people like Paul Champlina from Landlords Action, and I'm pleased to say that the government and civil servants seem to be listening, and they're changing what they were proposing for the Renters' Rights Bill. It's not going to be as bad as many people thought it was going to be. However, there are still many landlords who are deciding to get out of the property game. And this actually could be an opportunity for you, which I'm going to talk about later in this video. But we need to remember the Renters' Rights Bill was originally the Renters' Reform Bill suggested by the Conservative government when they were in power a couple of years ago. So actually, this is not something that the Labour Party has created. This is something the Labour Party has in a way inherited. They've obviously changed the name because they couldn't be seen to be taking the same policies as the Conservative government at the time. However, the point is to try and give better rights to tenants. Now, I have no problem at all having a fair scenario and giving good rights to tenants. And I think as a good landlord, and hopefully if you've been listening to our training, we teach you to be a good landlord, to look after your property, to look after your tenants. There are lots of bad landlords out there, but what happens very often, legislation comes in and actually it affects the good landlords, and the bad landlords don't really take any notice of it anyway. That happened very much when HMO licensing came in, and HMO licensing is a really good thing. It makes sure we have good standard HMOs, but the bad landlords don't take notice anyway. So there's a big distinction between the small minority of bad landlords and the millions of really good landlords who look after their property, look after their tenants. But unfortunately, landlords tend to get lambasted and all labelled the same, particularly by the press and particularly by the tenant haters who think all landlords are evil scum. Now, the problem with evil scum is that we actually provide much needed accommodation in the UK. And with all the changes that the government are making to this free market and the restrictions they're bringing in, it means that more and more landlords are selling up. More and more landlords are saying, you know what, I'm not sure it's worth being a landlord anymore with all this increased legislation, with a Section 24 tax, which came in back in April 2017. It was phased over 4 years. And actually, most landlords didn't really notice the effect of it until 2022, when interest rates started to go up. Then they had this double whammy of rising interest rates, which means they were paying more and more on their mortgages, and they were paying more and more tax as well. And some landlords got to the situation where they had properties that were not only not making money, but also they had to pay tax to the tax man on this phantom profit they were making. So this is one of the reasons that many landlords have been getting out of the property market. Now, what does that actually mean for you as a property investor or a potential property investor? Well, think about this. There are 2 million plus landlords in the UK. Most of those only have 1 or 2 properties. But if they decide, actually, I'm not going to be a landlord anymore and start to sell them, as we've seen tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of landlords selling up over the last few years, it means there's a reduction in the amount of accommodation available. That's one of the reasons we've seen rents go up. So ironically, a lot of this legislation that's designed to help tenants and support tenants, and I'm all in favour of that, but it has the adverse effect. If it puts a lot of landlords off being private landlords and they start selling their properties, less rental property available means rents go up. So actually, tenants then struggle. Now, all this increased regulation and the potential of it being harder to get rid of tenants means that landlords are going to be far more selective about who they put into their property. So I think some people who had financial difficulties or just have a bit of difficulty managing their money might really struggle to find accommodation because landlords might decide to go with someone who is a safer bet. So with all this doom and gloom, you might be sitting there saying, Simon, is it really worth becoming a landlord? Is it worth investing in property? And my answer is, as long as you know what you're doing, it's a resounding yes, absolutely. Because the point is, there is not enough accommodation in the UK. That's why the government say we need another 300,000 homes being built every single year. And their pledge was to do that over the next 5 years to produce 1.5 million homes. Now, of course, the governments don't actually build the properties. Their job is to stimulate the market and encourage developers to build the housing that is much needed in this country. So with this shortage of accommodation and with more and more landlords getting out of the market, if you're coming into the market or you're already in the market, there's definitely an opportunity here. With landlords selling up and retiring, what it means is you can pick up properties that are already set up. They're already running as serviced accommodation. They're already running as HMOs. But those landlords just fed up. They don't want to do it anymore. In any market, you always get some people coming in new and you get some people exiting and retiring. That always happens. It just so happens that at the moment we've got more people exiting than we have coming in. So right now is an incredible opportunity. And I mean specifically right now. And this is why it's important to watch these videos when they come out in a timely fashion. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I highly recommend you hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to make sure you're notified anytime a new video comes out, because some of my videos are timely. And let me tell you what's happening right now and why you should be taking action. You see, right now we're having interest rates are starting to come down, and that's good news for homeowners and it's good news for property investors because our monthly mortgage payments are going to be less. That makes it more attractive to invest in property. Now, I think we're seeing lots of landlords and investors waiting. They're waiting till interest rates come down a bit further because they're thinking rather than buy a property right now, if I wait 6 months, maybe interest rates are lower, I'll be able to get a better mortgage and then I'll make more money. Now, whilst I agree with that thinking, the problem is this. If everyone waits to when interest rates come down, when they come down further, there'll be a surge of people towards the back end of 2025 coming into the market saying, right, now's the right time to get in. And actually the demand for property is going to go up. There'll be more people looking to buy maybe than there are looking to sell. But right now we have this buyer's market. It means there are more people who are looking to sell property than there are to buy property. And so if we're looking to buy, we can have the pick of any properties we want. It means we can negotiate better deals. We can negotiate bigger discounts off the purchase price, or we can negotiate flexible terms such as purchase lease options or vendor finance, which are strategies you can use to acquire property using very little of your own money. And I've got other videos on this YouTube channel all about those strategies. But here's the point. Where there's not as much competition right now is the time you should be looking for properties, making offers and securing those deals. If you wait another 6 months, there'll still be some great opportunities, but there'll be more people in the market, there'll be more competition, and you will not get such a good price. So you've got to weigh off the different opportunities here of maybe paying slightly less on your mortgage each month if you wait, but you're probably going to pay more for your actual acquisition, which means you need to put more money in the first place. So I think the next 6 months are going to be a critical time for you to get out there, get educated, take action, and secure your very next 1 or 2 or 3 investment properties. I do hope this video has been useful for you, inspirational. Come and hit the like button, come and comment below, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified anytime a brand new video comes out. Until the next time, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill.